Check the old gas in this. She hasn't been ran in a while. There's some in it. Ought to be enough to get the job done. Gas is on. Hey everyone, my name is Matt and welcome back to Cobb Hill Farms. I'm feeling a little slightly under the weather this morning, but it's too nice a day to sit in the house. So I want to find something that's a little easier for me to do today. So I think what we're going to do is start moving round bales from the bottom of the old barn up here to the addition, get them set on pallets, and that way there we can start putting tractors away and some of the other hay equipment that is going to go down in the bottom of the barn. So that's what we're going to get busy doing. So we're going to store the round bales that are in the bottom of the barn up here in the upper addition. We're going to start over here in the corner, come across probably 4 bales wide, 2 high, and then work our way out towards the door opening. We're going to stack them on pallets. I've done it in the past, works really well, keeps them off the ground, off the dirt floor. They don't absorb any moisture that way. The reason we didn't put those bales in here in the first place when they were made was because we need these bays here for the flat rack wagons when we have small squares on the wagons. We could just back the wagons in here under cover. I know it seems like more work, but it really does work out to our benefit to do it this way. That rolls pretty good after I fixed it. Well, there we have it. 14 round bales double stacked on pallets inside the addition here. The bottom of the barn just needs to be swept out, and then we can start putting tractors away. I left a hole over here for the flail chopper, so once we're done with that, we can back that thing in. It'll be under cover. Hole over there for the chute. Over here, we got more round bales that are outside. Once they dry out a little bit more, we've had quite a bit of rain, as I said before. Once they dry out, we'll bring them in, stack them on pallets, and we'll bring this all the way right out to the doorway. Well, we're 3 days later, and remember at the beginning of the video how I said I didn't feel very good? Well, it only got a lot worse from there. So the last 2.5 days I didn't venture outside hardly at all to do much of anything. Logan helped do some chores. Other than that, I pretty well stayed in the house, but feeling a lot better now, so I want to get outside and get a few things done. But one thing we did get done was get the tractors inside. Super M, both Farm All H's are over here. We got the tedder inside for now. Not quite sure where the hay rake's gonna go yet. And we moved the New Holland over here, and Logan's Super C. We gotta get the weights and stuff off of that from tractor pulling season before we find a home for that for the winter. But at least all the tractors are under cover for now. We got a little bit of fog on our hands this morning. So a project I've had on the back burner for a while, I think I finally want to get fixed, is this running gear. A while ago I was flail chopping with this wagon, and we got down to the last 2 passes I think on the field, and I got down to the end and went to turn around and turn too sharp with the wagon, and then it ended up bending the clevis that connects the tie rod to the spindle assembly for this right hand side. So I got to get the tie rod off of there and get the spindle out of there, because the spindle needs some attention as well. Looks good enough for me. First thing we'll do is get this wheel off of here. And it's not 3/4. 13/16 it is. Now with the tire out of the way, which them bearings sound like they've seen better days, you can see the destruction I did here. I bent the ear coming off the spindle. The clevis is bent beyond repair as far as I'm concerned. And so we gotta get this whole thing off of here and see what we gotta do to get it all fixed up. Well, looks like I was right. And one part of that ear is completely broke off. Well, now let's see what it's going to take to get this spindle out of here. Gotta get all this grease cleaned off first. Well, the cotter pin was set up in the spindle, but I was able to bust off either end of the cotter pin flush with the spindle. So I should be able to get this washer off of here, and then hopefully it's all cleared enough that the spindle should be able to go down through the axle housing without catching or anything. So we'll see. Well, let's spray some penetrating fluid down in here. Ah, look at that. Fell right out. Alright, last but not least, let's see if we can get this end off. Oh, that was easy. At least for that one. That was a regular hex nut. This other one's a square nut. So I need to find a wrench. Well, oh, that does move. Well, I gotta say one thing. At least I picked this weekend to be sick instead of last weekend. Logan would have been mad last weekend because last weekend was the last tractor pull of the season that we went to, and he wouldn't have been very happy if we missed that because I didn't feel well. There, we got that off of there nicely. Well, before we head down to the shop, let's check this side just to see if there's anything we have to do over here. It's got a little bit of a bend in it, so that's all right up in here. This clevis has a long throw on it as well, but it's a lot thicker and wider than this thing that came off the other side. So I gotta see what I can come up with to duplicate what's on this side. But either way, I think this side is probably pretty good. Well, here we have all our broken pieces laying on the bench. This spindle assembly I thought originally was cracked a lot more than it is, but it's actually only cracked right over here in the very end. So this ear needs to get bent back up, and then I need to address this hole. I don't know if I'll build it back up with weld and grind it flush. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that yet. Obviously I got to do something with the bearing. She's pretty noisy there. And then I got to find where the cotter pin was in here and get that out of there, drill it out, warm it up and drive it out, whatever. I don't think that'll be too big of a deal. This, on the other hand, I'm not sure what I'm going to do with this. Obviously this clevis is junk, and preferably I don't want to find a cast one like this one again, but I also like to find one with a shorter throw, one that doesn't have such a long ear on it. So if I do that, chances are then I'm going to have to lengthen this out. So what I'm probably going to end up doing is building a whole new one of these. This has been added for strength. This angle iron's been added for strength. So I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to do here yet. Having this eyelet on the end is what's going to throw this whole thing for a little bit of a loop. So I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do yet here, but at least I got it apart so I can do something with it. I called the butcher the other day and got hanging weights for the 4 pigs. They range anywhere from 258 pounds to 267 pounds. The other 2 fell somewhere in between there. That's a 9-pound difference. I didn't think that's too awful bad. They're pretty close in size. They are a little on the heavier side than I like to see. I usually shoot for anywhere from 200 to 225. You get much above that 225 pound range and all they're putting on is fat, and a lot of that gets trimmed off during the processing. But it is what it is. I'll take that any day. They were 9 months old when they went to butcher. They spent 3 months at the guy that I bought them from, and then they spent 6 months here on the farm to grow them out and finish them. So they ought to provide a lot of product for the customers that purchase them from me for a lot of months to come. So we'll get them picked up here in the next few weeks once all the orders are ready, get them delivered, and that'll be the end for pigs for this year. And next we got 2 cattle going to butcher, one in October and one in November, so they'll be thinning the herd out there a little bit as well. You know, when you run a farm, it doesn't matter if it's family and friends, employees, whatever. It takes people to get the job done. And when you're a small farm like we are, it's just the 3 of us, Stacy, Logan, and I. So we all share the workload. Well, when one of us is down and out, somebody else has to pick up that other person's workload. This weekend, Stacy and Logan definitely picked up my workload. I was down and out for sure. You know, Stacy and Logan went to farmers market, and it was a slow day. The sale numbers reflected that, but it is what it is. You can't control that. But nonetheless, I appreciate them going, and for Logan especially, helping around here with chores morning and afternoon when I didn't feel like coming out and doing them. But I want to take a minute and thank everybody for their positive reinforcement from the last video. Like I said in the video, it does help and it reassures what I'm doing. So if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. If you like our channel, as always, we ask you to subscribe. We hope you have a great rest of your day. We'll see you next time.